I was reluctant to ride one motorcycle because I rode the younger sibling of the motorcycle and I felt that motorcycle to be too heavy, too tall and not that great performance. I was forced to make this motorcycle ride and I got truly impressed with the motorcycle. You might be thinking which one it is, and that is the Kawasaki Versys 1000, one of the big daddies of sports touring segment. What's up YouTube? As I said, I have ridden the Versys 650 and I was not so quite impressed with the motorcycle because it was quite tall, quite heavy and it wasn't my type of a thing. One of my friend has this motorcycle and accidentally we had to switch the motorcycle and ride, and I rode this motorcycle and I was like, what the hell? Because this has no resemblance or no characteristics of the 650 or the other way. This is altogether a different kind of feel. Low seat height, very comfortable to ride, inline 4, beautiful motorcycle. Then I thought, okay, why not just take this motorcycle, because this is certainly 100% underrated motorcycle, 100% sure about that. So let's make this motorcycle famous. So yes, look at the styling. Actually, I really love the way how these Kawasaki's looks. Maybe the Kawasaki H2 and the 10R is going in a different direction, but I started liking the way how the Versys looks now. Previously I didn't like the looks because it was flat design. Now it just has a little more curvy design, you know what I meant. And we have a beautiful looking headlight, and this white color paint scheme actually looks good. It's actually a flowing design, and the Versys is written over there, and the big tank, it's around 19 liters of tank, gives a huge road presence. Looking at the chunk of fairing and upside down forks, road tires, road spec wheels in the front and the back, and a beautiful inline 4. This inline 4 999cc is actually derived from the Z1000. That's it. So Z1000 is a notorious kid in the Kawasaki lineup, and they discontinued it because it was so much notorious. So this engine was derived from the Z1000 and it does absolute justice to what it was derived from. I'll come to that point a little later. And this is a 2-seater sofa. You can sit here, ride this motorcycle for as long as you want. Same goes with your pillion. But the top rack is not actually standard on this motorcycle. By the way, this comes with a titanium Delcovic exhaust. This is the first time I'm hearing a Delcovic exhaust, and it sounds nice. It's not very loud. It gives a humming sound and it's very nice. By the way, it runs with Michelin Road 5 tires, which is kind of okay in my opinion. The tires are gripping good, but not the best that you can give when it comes to performance riding, especially when the motorcycle can go beyond 200 km very easily. Yeah, that's the point which I'm trying to make here. And a beautiful looking tail light. I know whether I've seen this tail light somewhere in the Kawasaki lineup, but it looks very familiar. And the motorcycle looks, the pilot view is actually really good. You look at here and there are a lot of things over here. You might think like that. Come, let's get on. So unlike the Versys 650, look at that. I have a good planted foot. I don't say complete planted foot, but a good planted foot. On this side there are a lot of things. Here the high beam and the low beam. We can change the power modes here. These are the cruise control switches, the indicator, the caution lamp, the horn, and on this side we have the crank switch, the select button. So when we turn this on, you look at that. This used to be the H2 dial. Looks really good, right? And it starts blinking after that 6000 RPM. So this has done around 45,000 kilometers. You won't believe it that it has done that kind of a long run. And it comes with a blockbuster guards, good for all bikes. So let's roll. The thing is, the moment you leave the clutch, you get that push. Crazy man, crazy acceleration. This has an altogether different feel of riding. I'm saying this because generally inline 4s are better on the top end. Oh, that's a 650. This is also a 650. So the typical feel of an inline 4 is that you have the performance, all of them in the top end, the higher rev ranges, but this one is tuned a little different. Obviously the influence or the derivation of the Z1000 is the cost. This has enormous amount of torque. When the first time I started this motorcycle and I started rolling, just like any other inline 4, I just opened the throttle. Slightly I was giving the throttle and I left the clutch and the motorcycle jumped off. And then I got to know that it's the torque is actually real. The bottom end torque is so much real that they can actually push you so hard in the bottom end as well as in the mid-range. So this inline 4 is tuned for the low-end performance and the mid-range performance, exactly what you need when you go out on a highway. So this character is of a 2-cylinder. So if you consider Versys 650, that's actually a good engine, the 650cc engine. So the 650cc's have this character, bottom end torque, mid rev range, but not the top end. So this one is like that. So you have a very good, man, it's a 6 gear and it keeps pulling like that, and it can do a top speed of 240. I have done close to 220, and I was cruising at that time. Not that I was doing a drag and I got that number. I was actually cruising with a BMW S1000 XR, and I was simply cruising at a speed of 210 kilometer, and I did 220, and then I came back. This is such a crazy machine, and it's not too hard to ride as well. The only trouble I am facing is that I'm not so much used to ride these kind of adventure motorcycles with taller windscreen, so I'm not able to get good fresh air. So the windscreen is actually blocking a lot of air, which is good for touring, but you know, sometimes I feel a little stuffy because of that. Come on, we have an open road. Nope. Yeah. And the way that dial blinks, it's so good, it's so nice to see. It's a proper inline 4 beautiful tourer. You know, it just pulled crazy. The mid-range performance is really good. So if you have to cruise on the highway, this thing actually does 140 to 180 easy, and after that the speeds are a little climbing, but still you can manage to get a 200 pretty quick. And let's leave the engine there. Let's talk about the rest of the things. So according to me, the suspension feels way soft. The good part is it's a Kawasaki suspension, and yeah, that too a Versys suspension, so it is actually tuned for high speed cruising. It is really nice, but the thing is, it is not holding up for the corners. So, and the rear is also adjustable. So the best part is you can actually sit on the motorcycle and adjust the rear suspension, and the braking is also good. I love it, but the rear brake feel is not that great. I know why. You don't really need it, but just in case for an emergency, the rear brake feel is not that great, but the front brake is good. The way this handles is so nice. We have a very wide handlebar, and the seating posture is good. It's not completely upright like cruisers. It's set back feel. We have more control on the handlebar, so in that way I like it. And the gear shifting, as always, the Kawasaki gear shifts are really good. Clutch is actually comparatively lighter, so don't have any trouble in using it multiple times if I have to. But it's an inline 4, so you have the character. If you're on the highway, you don't have to really use the clutch all the time. You can be in the 6th gear and start riding it from almost 50 km/h speeds to 220 km or 240 km if you want. So the clutch feel is fine, and the gearbox is super sleek. Kawasaki gearboxes are like that. You can actually, there is no false neutrals, and also there is one great engineering, I have to say that in a way, the positive neutral finder. So if, when you stop the motorcycle, so there is a ball bearing on this motorcycle which works in a way that when you stop the motorcycle and when you have to put your motorcycle in the neutral from the 1st gear, the ball bearing actually works on the centrifugal force. So when you stop the motorcycle, the ball bearing comes to the middle, leaving the force, and it locks the 2nd gear. So you will get the neutral at any point. That's the thing. So when the motorcycle is actually riding and when you shift from the 1st gear, it goes to the 2nd gear. It's a small piece of engineering which is really hard to develop as well, but you know, that works so good. I mean, being a Ducati owner, I feel the pain of not finding a neutral for a couple of weeks. But on this one, you actually stop the motorcycle, you get the neutral that fast. The seating is actually really good. It's definitely a sofa on 2 wheels. But one thing is, like, I call the Versys the vertical sisters, be it the 650 or the 1000, because you know, these motorcycles, whatever you do, the better rubber, whatever kind of technology you use on this motorcycle, it can go only in straight lines. You cannot lean this motorcycle to your advantage. Say you are going in 160 km speed and you are approaching a corner and you have to take a long sweeping corner, then you have to bring the motorcycle down to 120 because you might find it a bit top heavy. This motorcycle is literally a heavy motorcycle, I think around 270 kg, but mind you, it doesn't feel at all like that, unlike the 650. But this one, the vertical sister, is like that. You have to stay straight, it can't take corners, and maintenance is also pretty clean, because when this motorcycle was selling, right now also it is selling, the ex-showroom price is around 15 to 16 lakh. That means around 20 to 22 lakh on road, including all accessories, and mileage is also pretty decent, around 20 km per liter. And with this humongous tank, you can actually tour on this motorcycle I'll say that it's kind of an Innova of motorcycles. Even the owner of the motorcycle was telling me yesterday that it does feel the same. It's like just fuel up and start riding. You don't have any fatigue in riding this motorcycle, and it goes for the service annually and costs 10,000, 15,000, which is also decent enough considering that it is a later class. Throttling is so nice. Vertical sister, please help me to take this corner. So nice. The exhaust is giving an altogether different feel to the ride. And also I was riding this motorcycle with a pillion, and the pillion is so happy. Literally to a person like me with my height and weight, I'll say that 2 people can sit in the front seat and 2 people can sit in the rear seat, even though it's illegal. So it's a car. 4 people can sit on a vehicle. It's considered to be a car. But I really feel bad for the fact that there are not many numbers in sales. If you see the 650, there are a lot of Versys 650s in sale, but not many 1000s. Probably the reason is that people might be buying the Ninja 1000 thinking that it's a sports tourer, obviously. So that might be the reason, and then people get into Ninja 1000, and the problem is they ride with the ZX10R guys, and they will feel that they are underpowered, and then they leave that motorcycle and go to something else. So probably one of the finest sports touring motorcycle in this later class is, obviously we can start with the Ninja 1000, and then I'll say the Versys 1000, because the Versys is much comfortable and much better than the Ninja 1000. And the next sports touring motorcycle that I see is the BMW S1000 XR, which I rode a few days back, and that's such a phenomenal motorcycle. It's not like the vertical sister. You can actually corner that motorcycle well, be it on the highway. When you get a nice sweeping corner, you don't have to doubt yourself. Give the throttle, get into the line, take the apex, come out of it. So S1000 XR is a beast of itself. It's a tamed version of the S1000 RR. But you know, I started liking this motorcycle a lot. Couple of facts. One is, this is a rare motorcycle now, and second thing, after riding this motorcycle for this long, I've been riding it for 2 or 3 weeks by now, I started getting a lot of connection. It's Japanese engineering, a lot of reliability from the motorcycle, and it's ease of use, not so much complicated to ride. Just get on the motorcycle, fuel it up and ride. Today we have crazy traffic on this road. It's a bit long motorcycle, we have to keep that in mind. The wheelbase is quite bigger. You see that those yellow lines are actually made to give the lorry drivers a feel that they are actually driving and not to sleep during the night. So when this motorcycle goes over that, absolutely nothing. I don't really feel anything. Suspension is actually taking that so well. And if you have to do a long tour on this motorcycle comfortably, you can do that like 1000 kilometers or even more than in a day. You might have to add some auxiliary lights. The stock lights are not so great, but certainly it looks good, the way how it looks good. So that's my quick review on the Versys 1000. So I hope this video is helpful or you enjoyed this video. So as always, show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye. It's an hour, man, crazy. Nice to see these guys giving thumbs up, man. That's biking brotherhood.